Take a moment and imagine this. 365 days from now, you wake up and look in the mirror. Do you see the same person? The same habits, the same worries, the same limitations? Or do you see someone who has transformed, stronger, wiser, more confident, and in control? What if I told you that this transformation is just 1% away from where you are now? That's right. The life you want, the version of you that you dream of becoming, it's only 1% away. And this isn't some gimmick. It's a fundamental truth about how success really works. You don't have to make massive changes overnight. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in one go. You just need to focus on being 1% better every single day. Now I know what you're thinking. How can just 1% make a difference? I want more than that. But what if I told you that this 1% rule might just be the most powerful principle you've never fully understood? Stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll not only see how small improvements compound into massive results, but you'll also have a step-by-step plan to change your life. Starting today, most people think they need to make huge, dramatic changes to get ahead in life. You see it all the time. People think they need to drop 30 pounds in a month or suddenly find themselves in a six-figure career overnight. But real lasting success isn't built on huge, dramatic efforts. It's built on small, consistent actions that stack over time. Think about this. You want to be healthier, so you decide to go for a run tomorrow. Great start, right? But if that's the only run you ever do, how much will it change your life? Not much. Now let's flip that around. What if you ran just a little bit every day? Not a marathon. Just enough to push yourself by 1%. Over time, you're not just improving your running skills, you're building endurance, strength, discipline. These small actions compound into something much bigger. Okay, quick math lesson, don't worry, I promise this is important. If you get 1% better every day, you won't just be 365% better. By the end of the year, you'll actually be 37 times better. Yes, you heard that right, 37 times. Thank exponential growth for that one. But you might be wondering, what does 1% actually look like? How do you apply this to your life? That's where the magic really happens. Every decision you make, no matter how small, is a vote for the type of person you want to become. This is where habits come into play. Want to be healthier? Eat one healthy meal a day. Want to be smarter? Read just one page of a book every night. It's not about massive effort all at once. It's about consistency and consistency. That's what shapes your future. We live in a world that glorifies huge transformations. The weight loss before and after photos. The overnight success stories. But here's the truth that no one tells you. Success isn't built in a day. It's built one small action at a time. Let's put it this way. If you ate a burger and fries today, would it make you unhealthy tomorrow? Probably not. But if you ate it every day for a year, we both know how that story ends. Now most people know they need good habits, so why don't they follow through? The answer might surprise you. Here's the issue, we live in a world of instant gratification. We want results. Now, we're conditioned to believe that if we don't see immediate progress, it's not working. But here's where most people get stuck. They expect huge results in a short period of time, and when they don't get it, they give up. They quit before the magic of small daily improvements has time to take effect. Think about the last time you set a big goal. Maybe it was to lose weight or save money or learn a new skill. You started strong, didn't you? But after a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month, you didn't see the progress you expected. So what happened? You stopped. You convinced yourself that it wasn't working, that it wasn't worth the effort. But what if I told you that you were right on the edge of a breakthrough, and you didn't even know it? Here's the truth. Most people never realize. Success doesn't start with massive wins. It starts with tiny victories. And those tiny victories create momentum. Momentum is powerful. It's what turns a small push into unstoppable progress. Imagine you're pushing a heavy boulder uphill. At first, it feels impossible. Every step is hard. Every inch takes effort. But as you keep pushing, something changes. The boulder gets easier to move. The resistance lessens. And suddenly that boulder is rolling on its own. Almost effortlessly, that's momentum. Think about the last time you finally nailed something you'd been struggling with. Whether it was a workout routine, a new habit, or a skill, once you hit that sweet spot, didn't it feel like you were unstoppable? That's the magic of momentum, and the best part, you don't need a massive win to create it. You just need to start. Momentum builds confidence, but what happens when things don't go according to plan? Because trust me, setbacks are coming. No one's path to success is a straight line. Setbacks are inevitable. There will be days when nothing goes right, when you feel like you're spinning your wheels, making no progress at all. But here's the beauty of the 1% rule. On those tough days, you don't need to hit a home run, you just need to focus on getting a small win. Imagine you're trying to write a book and your goal is to write 500 words a day. But today you're exhausted, you're unmotivated. What if instead of writing 500 words, you just wrote 50? Sure, it's not much, but it's something. You're still moving forward. You're keeping the momentum alive. Most people think setbacks mean failure. But what if setbacks were actually your biggest opportunity for growth? Here's a perspective shift for you. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. It's feedback. It's the universe telling you that there's a better way, a smarter way, a more efficient way. Let's flip the script for a second. Imagine you're playing a video game. When you hit a difficult level and lose a life, do you quit? Or do you keep playing? Learning from your mistakes and trying again? Failure in real life is the same. It's not game over. It's try again, but smarter. Think about your biggest failures. What did you learn from them? Did they teach you resilience, patience? Did they force you to find a new approach? Every time you fail, you have a choice. You can let it define you or you can let it refine you. Most people see failure as the end, but the most successful people in the world see it as the beginning. Let's be real. Motivation is fleeting. Some days you're fired up, ready to conquer the world, but other days you're tired, you're unmotivated, you just don't feel like it. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation runs out. Here's the thing. Discipline, like any other skill, can be built 1% at a time. You don't have to overhaul your life to become a disciplined person. Start small, wake up 5 minutes earlier. Make your bed every morning. These small acts of discipline build over time, and before you know it, you've developed a powerful habit of showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you rely on motivation alone, you'll only take action when you feel like it. And let's be honest, you're not going to feel like it every day. But discipline, that's different. Discipline means showing up no matter how you feel. It means doing the work even when you're tired, even when you're uninspired. Discipline is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Let me ask you this. What would your life look like if you didn't wait for motivation? What if instead, you relied on discipline to carry you through? When you commit to being 1% better every day, discipline becomes your secret weapon. You're not relying on a fleeting emotion. You're building a habit of consistency. Think about it like this. Do you wait for motivation to brush your teeth every morning? Probably not. You do it because it's a habit. You do it because it's necessary. Imagine if you approached your goals the same way. Automatic, non-negotiable, disciplined. Now, what if I told you that this discipline doesn't just make you more productive, it actually rewires your brain for success? Let me explain. Every time you achieve a small win, no matter how small, your brain releases dopamine. It's a chemical that makes you feel good, but it's more than just a momentary high. Dopamine is what motivates you to repeat behaviors. It's what makes you want to keep going. This is the science behind the 1% rule. Small wins trigger a positive feedback loop in your brain. Let's take this a step further. When you build momentum through small, consistent actions, your brain starts to crave those wins. It becomes easier to stay disciplined because your brain is wired to seek that next dopamine hit. It's no longer just about forcing yourself to take action. It's about your brain rewarding you for it. Think of it like a video game. Every time you level up, you get a rush of excitement that pushes you to keep playing, right? The same thing happens in real life. Small wins are like leveling up and they make you want to keep going. But here's where most people miss out. They stop celebrating those small wins. And when you stop celebrating, you stop the momentum. Let's talk about why celebrating small wins is crucial to your success. When was the last time you gave yourself credit for a small achievement? Most of us are so focused on the big goals that we forget to acknowledge the progress we're making along the way. But celebrating those small wins is essential. It's what keeps you motivated, it's what keeps you on track. Think about it. If you only celebrate when you reach the final destination, you're missing out on all the progress you've made along the journey. You're training your brain to believe that success is all or nothing. But success isn't a destination, it's a process. Imagine running a marathon but refusing to drink any water until you cross the finish line. Sounds ridiculous, right? You'd probably collapse before you got halfway. But that's exactly what we do when we ignore the small wins and only celebrate the big ones. So how do you start celebrating the small wins without getting complacent? There's a balance, and it's easier than you think. Now I know what you're thinking. If I celebrate every small win, won't I get complacent? Won't I lose the drive to keep pushing forward? But here's the key. You can celebrate progress without getting too comfortable. In fact, recognizing your small wins should fuel you to keep striving for more, not make you settle. It's all about balance. You want to acknowledge your progress, but you don't want to get stuck. This is where the 1% mindset really shines. When you commit to improving by just 1% each day, you're always moving forward. There's no room for complacency because you're constantly looking for ways to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. Think of it like a staircase. Each step is a small win, but the only way to reach the top is to keep climbing. You can pause to admire the view, but you've got to keep moving up if you want to reach new heights. Speaking of reaching new heights, let's talk about the ultimate benefit of the 1% rule: exponential growth. This is where the magic happens. Here's the real beauty of the 1% rule. Over time, those small improvements compound into something much bigger. It's like planting a seed. At first, you don't see much progress. It feels slow, almost invisible. But with consistent effort, that seed grows, and one day it becomes something massive, something you couldn't have imagined when you started. This is where most people give up. They don't stick around long enough to see the growth. They plant the seed, water it for a few days, and when they don't see immediate results, they assume it's not working. But if you stick with it, if you keep improving by 1% every day, eventually, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Okay, time for a reality check. How many times have you given up on something because the results weren't coming fast enough? Be honest, we've all been there. But what if you just kept going a little longer? Now imagine where you'd be today if you hadn't quit. Imagine the life you could be living right now if you'd stuck with it. But here's the good news, it's never too late to start again. Maybe you're watching this and thinking, I've wasted so much time, I've missed too many opportunities. Oh, but here's the truth, it's never too late to start. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to fix everything at once. All you need is to commit to being 1% better today than you were yesterday. Think about where you are right now. Maybe you're not where you want to be. Maybe you've made mistakes, or maybe life has thrown you off course, but that's okay. You can start right here, right now. The 1% rule doesn't care about your past. It only cares about what you do today and tomorrow and the next day. Let me ask you this. What's one thing you can do today to be 1% better than you were yesterday? It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be something. Go ahead, think about it, and once you've started, the key is to stay consistent. Because consistency is what turns small improvements into extraordinary results. Consistency is where the real magic happens. It's what separates those who succeed from those who don't. Anyone can make a big effort for a day or two, but those who are truly successful, the ones who achieve their goals and live a life of purpose, they're the ones who show up day after day, even when it's hard, even when they don't feel like it. Think about it like this. Consistency is the bridge between your goals and your results. Without it, you'll always be stuck on the wrong side of that bridge, looking at where you want to be but never actually getting there. But with consistency, every step you take brings you closer to your destination. Here's the truth. Most people won't do this. Most people will continue to chase quick fixes, get frustrated when they don't see immediate results, and give up before they've even scratched the surface of their potential. But not you. You know better now. You understand that the real secret to success isn't giant leaps, it's small, consistent steps in the right direction. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, commit to being 1% better every single day. Don't try to change everything at once. Just focus on one small improvement at a time. Track your progress, stay consistent, and at the end of those 30 days, look back and see just how far you've come. And once you start seeing those results, once you start feeling that momentum, you'll start asking yourself an even bigger question. What's the meaning behind all of this progress? What's the bigger purpose of my life? If you're ready to dive deeper into that question and discover the true meaning of life, click on the video that's on your screen right now. In that video, we'll explore how finding your purpose can take your 1% improvements to a whole new level. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.